Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus. Welcome. If you're looking to find peace and maintain it even in the toughest moments, you've come to the right place. In this video, we'll explore 7 Stoic techniques that will help you master the art of inner calm and control over your emotions. Stoic philosophy, which has deep roots in ancient Rome and Greece, taught many great individuals how to handle life's challenges without being overwhelmed by emotions. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more videos about Stoic wisdom and the path to inner peace. Let's get started. Technique 1. Focus on what you can control. The first technique we'll dive into is one of the cornerstones of Stoicism, focusing on what is within your control. The Stoics believed that peace of mind comes from recognizing that we can only control our own actions and reactions, not the external world. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, often reminded himself of this. Imagine a situation where you're stuck in traffic and you're running late for an important meeting. Most people would start to get frustrated, their emotions spiraling out of control. But the Stoics would ask themselves, what can I control in this situation? The answer is simple. Your response: you can't control the traffic, but you can control your emotions. Instead of stressing out, you could use this time to practice mindfulness, listen to an audiobook, or simply breathe and stay calm. For a modern-day example, let's think about work. You might face stressful deadlines, demanding bosses, or difficult colleagues. But what you can control is how you react. You can choose to stay calm, be patient, and take action where necessary. The more you focus on your own responses, the less power external circumstances have over your peace of mind. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't, you'll find that your peace grows stronger. This simple shift in perspective is one of the most powerful tools for mastering inner calm. Stay tuned, because next, we'll dive into the second technique to help you find peace through Stoic wisdom. Technique 2. Practice negative visualization. The second technique is one that might sound counterintuitive at first, but it's incredibly powerful: practicing negative visualization. This technique is about imagining the worst-case scenario, not to dwell on it, but to appreciate the present and cultivate resilience. The Stoics believed that by contemplating potential losses or hardships, we can better prepare ourselves emotionally for whatever life throws at us. By facing the idea of losing things, whether it's a job, a loved one, or our health, we learn to appreciate them more in the present. This helps us avoid taking things for granted and reduces the shock when we face difficulties. For instance, imagine you're spending time with a close friend. Instead of just enjoying the moment, try briefly imagining what it would be like if you couldn't see them again. This doesn't mean you should obsess over negative thoughts, but rather, you acknowledge that all things are temporary. By doing this, you come to appreciate the present moment even more. In the modern world, negative visualization can also be applied when thinking about potential obstacles in our work or personal life. For example, before giving an important presentation, you might imagine what could go wrong, forgetting your words, technical problems, or unexpected questions. Instead of fearing these possibilities, accept them as potential outcomes. This mental preparation can help you stay calm and focused, even if things don't go exactly as planned. It's about accepting that setbacks are part of life, and by acknowledging them, we can face them with grace when they happen. This technique helps build emotional resilience and strengthens our ability to remain calm, no matter what challenges lie ahead. By imagining loss, we gain a deeper appreciation for what we have, and that appreciation naturally leads to a more peaceful mindset. Now, let's move on to the third technique that will further guide you on your path to inner calm. Technique 3. Embrace the present moment. The third technique is one that's crucial for mastering calm: embracing the present moment. The Stoics taught that the present is the only time we truly have control over. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain, but the present is where we can act and make a difference. Epictetus famously said, "Don't waste time on what you cannot control. Focus on the present. By focusing on the present moment, We free ourselves from the anxiety of worrying about the past or future. So often, we find ourselves caught up in regrets over things that happened or in anxiety about what might come. But the Stoics remind us that true peace comes when we focus on what is happening right now and take action in the present moment. In a modern context, this technique can be applied to almost any situation. For example, if you're stressed about an upcoming deadline, instead of worrying about everything you still need to do, focus on what you can accomplish right now. Take one task at a time. This can help clear your mind and reduce the overwhelming feeling that often comes from trying to multitask or worrying about the future. Even in personal relationships, staying present can help you engage more meaningfully with others. When you're truly present with someone, not distracted by your phone or other thoughts, you deepen your connection and strengthen your emotional balance. Living in the moment isn't just about appreciating the good things, it's about accepting whatever is happening without judgment. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and trusting that the present moment is enough. Now that we've explored the importance of living in the present, let's move on to our fourth technique, which can help you further master calm and peace in your life. Technique 4. View challenges as opportunities. The fourth technique is seeing challenges as opportunities for growth. One of the core principles of Stoicism is that obstacles are not to be feared or avoided, but embraced as opportunities to practice virtue, develop resilience, and improve our character. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reflected on how difficult situations offer us a chance to exercise patience, wisdom, and self-control. The Stoics believed that every challenge we face is a chance to improve ourselves. Instead of viewing setbacks as things to complain about, we are encouraged to see them as opportunities to strengthen our minds. For example, if you're dealing with a difficult project at work, rather than seeing it as a burden, think of it as an opportunity to sharpen your skills, learn new things, or improve your ability to manage stress. In a real-life scenario, think about the last time you faced an argument with a friend or a family member. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can choose to see this challenge as an opportunity to practice patience, understanding, and empathy. You can ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this experience? By shifting your mindset in this way, you transform challenges into tools for self-improvement. For modern life, this technique is particularly valuable. Whether it's a setback at work, a personal failure, or an unexpected complication in your daily routine, the Stoic approach would be to view each of these moments as a chance to practice resilience. They are stepping stones, not roadblocks. By rethinking obstacles as opportunities, you cultivate peace because you no longer fear the struggles you face. Instead, you know that they're helping you become a better, stronger person. Now that we've explored how to view challenges as opportunities, let's move on to the fifth technique, which will further deepen your practice of inner calm and Stoic wisdom. Technique 5. Practice self-discipline and control. The fifth technique is to practice self-discipline and control. In Stoicism, self-discipline is considered one of the most powerful tools for achieving inner peace. The Stoics believed that the foundation of a calm and peaceful life lies in our ability to control our desires, impulses, and reactions. This doesn't mean repressing our emotions or desires, but rather learning how to manage them so they don't control us. True peace comes not from external circumstances, but from mastering our internal world. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This statement captures the essence of Stoic thought. Freedom is not about being free from external pressures, but about being in control of your internal responses to those pressures. The Stoics understood that we cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. By focusing on self-control, we develop the strength to face life's challenges calmly and rationally. Imagine a scenario where you are faced with a temptation, perhaps an unhealthy snack that you know isn't good for you, or an impulse purchase that you don't need. Instead of immediately giving in, the Stoic would pause and take a moment to reflect. Is this action aligned with your long-term goals, Does it support your greater values? The Stoic approach isn't about suppressing desires, but rather about making conscious choices that align with your principles. By practicing self-discipline, you learn to choose actions that will lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment and long-term peace, rather than short-term gratification. In everyday life, practicing self-discipline involves being mindful of your habits, thoughts, and actions. For example, if you're overwhelmed with work, it's easy to fall into the trap of procrastination, stress eating, or seeking distractions. The Stoic would respond by resisting those impulses and instead practicing discipline, setting clear priorities, sticking to your tasks, and taking breaks when necessary to avoid burnout. They would focus on maintaining emotional stability, not allowing anxiety or frustration to dictate their actions. Self-discipline is not about repression. It's about developing the ability to act with purpose and reason, rather than simply reacting out of impulse. It's about knowing that your choices have consequences and being responsible for them. It's also about recognizing that the momentary satisfaction of giving into an impulse is fleeting, whereas the long-term satisfaction of staying true to your values and goals brings a deeper sense of fulfillment. This technique also extends to how we react to emotional triggers. For example, if you're in a heated discussion and feel your anger rising, the Stoic approach would be to pause and exercise control over your emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can practice self-discipline by choosing not to let anger drive your response. This is where the true strength of self-control lies, in not allowing external events to dictate your emotional state. The beauty of this Stoic practice is that, with time, self-discipline becomes second nature. It becomes a habit that you no longer have to think about consciously because you've trained yourself to react from a place of wisdom and calm, rather than from impulsiveness or emotional reactivity. As you cultivate this self-control, you gain greater command over your own mind, which in turn gives you greater peace and serenity. Self-discipline is also essential when it comes to maintaining your energy and focus. In a world filled with distractions, social media, entertainment, work pressures, it's easy to lose focus on what truly matters. A Stoic would practice the discipline of saying no to distractions that don't align with their goals. Whether it's cutting down on time spent on social media, setting boundaries with others, or simply dedicating time each day for personal reflection, the practice of self-discipline helps you stay true to your purpose and avoid being swayed by external influences. Furthermore, self-discipline in daily habits is what builds resilience over time. When you practice self-discipline in the small things like waking up early, eating healthily, or maintaining a structured routine, you gradually build up the mental strength needed to handle more significant challenges. This consistency in practice creates a strong foundation that helps you navigate life's difficulties with grace and confidence. By cultivating self-discipline and control over your actions and thoughts, you create a sense of stability and inner calm. This technique teaches you that, while we cannot control the external world, we have the power to master our own behavior, thoughts, and reactions. This self-mastery leads to a profound sense of peace, because you no longer feel at the mercy of external events. Instead, you're the calm and tea. Technique 6. Preparing for the unexpected, the art of visualizing the worst-case scenario. The sixth technique in mastering inner peace is preparing for the unexpected through the practice of visualizing the worst-case scenario. At first glance, this might seem counterproductive. Why focus on negative outcomes? But the Stoics believed that contemplating the worst possible situation can significantly reduce anxiety and build emotional resilience. By mentally preparing for adversity, we can accept life's uncertainties and respond with greater calm when faced with challenges. The Stoic approach to adversity is grounded in the idea that much of our suffering arises from fear of the unknown or fear of losing control. By visualizing the worst possible situation, we mentally prepare for it, which diminishes its emotional impact. When we can imagine how we might handle failure, loss, or disappointment, these situations no longer seem as daunting. Instead of avoiding discomfort, we face it head-on, which allows us to respond with greater composure when such events actually occur. For example, if you're preparing for a high-stakes presentation, it's natural to fear mistakes or embarrassment. Visualizing the worst outcome, fumbling through your speech, or losing the audience's attention helps you realize that it's not the end of the world. Even if you make mistakes, you can recover. This exercise removes the fear of failure, empowering you to perform with greater confidence. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the inevitability of hardship. He understood that misfortune is a part of life and that it's not the events themselves, but our responses to them that matter. By embracing the possibility of failure or loss, we become less attached to specific outcomes. The Stoics taught that true freedom comes from within, and that we should focus on what we can control, our actions and our reactions, rather than worrying about things beyond our control. Let's consider a modern example: preparing for a job interview. It's normal to feel anxious, imagining worst-case scenarios such as stumbling over words or failing to impress the interviewers. Instead of letting these fears paralyze you, engage in negative visualization. Picture yourself making mistakes during the interview. How would you handle it? Would you laugh at yourself, learn from the experience, and try again next time? By mentally rehearsing this scenario, you become less afraid of failure, knowing that it's something you can survive and learn from. This practice can help foster gratitude for the present moment. By imagining losing something important, such as a job, a loved one, or your health, you gain a greater appreciation for what you have. The Stoics believed that reflecting on potential loss can deepen our gratitude for the things we take for granted. Additionally, this technique allows you to detach from material possessions and external circumstances. By imagining life without certain possessions or achievements, you begin to realize that true contentment comes from internal peace, not external validation. Negative visualization, a potent Stoic tool that prepares us for life's uncertainties by removing the fear of the unknown. By mentally rehearsing the worst-case scenario, we reduce its power over us and build resilience. This technique not only helps us face challenges with calmness, but also cultivates gratitude for the present and strengthens our ability to accept life's inevitable changes. In practicing this technique, we learn to focus on what we can control our mindset and embrace whatever comes with greater tranquility. Embrace impermanence, accepting the transitory nature of life. The seventh technique to master calm and peace is embracing the concept of impermanence. The Stoics understood that everything in life is fleeting, both the good and the bad. They taught that attachment to anything, whether it be wealth, success, or even relationships, leads to suffering. By accepting that all things are temporary, we learn to let go of our desires and anxieties, ultimately leading to a peaceful and more fulfilled life. One of the most powerful ways to practice this Stoic technique is by reflecting on the transitory nature of everything we experience. The Stoics believed that nothing in life is permanent, and this includes our possessions, our achievements, and even our relationships. When we cling to these things, we set ourselves up for disappointment and emotional turmoil. However, when we accept that all things are temporary, we free ourselves from unnecessary attachments. Take, for example, a beloved possession, a car, a house, or even a piece of jewelry. Over time, these things deteriorate, and their value diminishes. The same goes for our achievements. We may experience success in our career or in a personal goal, but over time, even the most remarkable accomplishments fade in importance. The Stoic mindset encourages us to appreciate what we have in the present moment, knowing that it will not last forever, but without becoming emotionally dependent on it. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often contemplated the idea of impermanence. He understood that life is fleeting, and that everything, our bodies, our possessions, our relationships, will eventually pass away. Instead of lamenting this fact, he embraced it. By reflecting on the inevitability of change, we come to appreciate the present moment more deeply. This awareness helps us to live more fully and peacefully, without the fear of loss. Consider the example of a flower in bloom. We admire its beauty, knowing that it will soon wither and fade. By recognizing that its beauty is fleeting, we can appreciate it more deeply while it lasts, without feeling sadness or regret when it eventually dies. This is a perfect analogy for the transient nature of life. The Stoics urge us to embrace life's fleeting moments, rather than resist them or try to hold onto them indefinitely. This understanding of impermanence can also help us cope with the loss of loved ones. While death is an inevitable part of life, it often brings deep sorrow. However, by accepting that death is a natural part of existence, we can prepare ourselves for it and approach the loss of loved ones with more peace. When we no longer fight against the reality of impermanence, we can cherish our relationships without the fear of loss looming over us. A modern example of this technique is the way we approach material success or fame. In today's world, it's easy to become fixated on career achievements or external validation. But these things are transient, they can be gained or lost in an instant. By embracing the truth of impermanence, we free ourselves from the constant striving for external approval and begin to find peace in the present, regardless of what we have or don't have. By practicing the acceptance of impermanence, we can let go of attachments to the things that we cannot control. We begin to focus on what truly matters, living with integrity, embracing the present, and cultivating peace within ourselves. The Stoics teach that, when we embrace the temporary nature of all things, we gain the wisdom to live a calm and content life, no longer bound by the fear of losing what we cannot keep. This Stoic technique helps us approach life with greater acceptance, allowing us to navigate both success and failure with greater tranquility. When we understand that everything is temporary, we stop clinging to things, and instead, we learn to embrace each moment with gratitude. This allows us to live a life of peace, unaffected by the passing storms of life, and secure in the knowledge that everything we experience is part of the natural flow of existence.